Let's welcome in Vic, the producer. Vic, how are you doing?
Doing well, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, sir.
Yeah, doing well.
Yeah, last week we had Gilbert win, so we have to decide who goes first here. Or is it going to be Fernando or is it going to be Gilbert?
I'll go first.
All right, here we go. We're going to start off with some baseball. The Dodgers were in a PR mess last week after Shohei Ohtani hit his first home run with the team. The gist of it is that the woman who caught the ball was bullied by the Dodgers into taking a deal for the ball after being told by people on Twitter that she didn't get enough for the ball. What would you guys have asked for it, and how would you guys have handled the situation? Go ahead and start us off, Gilbert.
Yeah, what a total ripoff from the Dodgers. I would have asked for $50K. I would have asked for 2 baseball bats signed, and I would have asked for Shohei Ohtani to be on Compas on the beat and bring the new translator with you. So be on the show. So those would be my checklist. I'm definitely getting money. Oh, one more thing. I'm getting 4 season tickets for the next 10 years because we need the Compas all together. It can't be just 2 tickets, right? So I will ask for all that. And if you don't want it, I'm out of there. Get me out of the freaking interrogation room with all your lawyers or whatever. I'm leaving. I thought it was a little shady from the Dodgers to separate the couple, telling the woman, hey, take it or leave it. Maybe the Dodgers were pressing their security team, whatever, their negotiating team. Hey, if Ohtani hits a home run and somebody takes it, make sure they don't get too much from us, and they overdid it. They did some good PR. They kind of backtracked and helped out the person, but you got to get some money out of it. I don't want to go on the field, run around the bases with Shohei. I don't want that crap. Give me money, give me season tickets, and give me Shohei on the show.
If we got Shohei on the show, I'd be like, Supotsu Jemu de Jinamburo o Shimotsuka.
Okay.
You gamble on sports games.
Wait, did you really just look that up?
Hell yeah, I did. I gotta do that, but that's exactly what I would have asked him. I'd be like, hey, straight up, like, ask translator, ask him, do it. Come on.
That would be your negotiation thing. Where like I get to ask one question, and he needs to answer honestly.
No, I would be like, I'd have that ball, and I'd be like, look, bro, I don't want anything from the team. I want something from you. You're the one that wants this ball. What's up? What can we do? Get me something. Let
Play a gambling game for all the marbles on the
I would okay, so the room would be dark. There would be 2 lights shining down on 2 people. You sit down, mafia style, put the ball in the middle and be like, all right, what are we gonna what are you willing to give up for this ball? This is your first Dodger.
Change the tables on them. I like it.
Yeah. I'd be like, look, you probably made a lot of money off of the bet saying that today was gonna be your first day hitting that home run. What's up? Like, what are we doing? Give it. No. I would have asked for probably money, season tickets for life, but I mean, it's the Dodgers. Why would I want to go to Chavez Ravine like that often?
Especially make them give you Dodgers season tickets. How about that?
No, hell no. I don't want season tickets. Baseball's way too.
You can sell that. Just put them on freaking StubHub for the rest of your life.
I want money. That's what I would want. I would want money, and then give me a baseball bat, but give me like $150K, and then pay off my student loans. And give me a signed baseball bat, and then give me season tickets, and then I'll sell them online. Sure, go ahead, let's do it. Yeah, that's what I want. I want and then Gilbert, you already got him on the show, so so I want my student loan debt paid, and I would have gone. I want $1 billion.
Like, fine, I'll take $1 million, man.
No, but I.
I'm gonna give that point
you're wild.
I'm gonna give that point to Fernando for saying that he would ask to have his student loan paid off, because that's honestly that's a good way to go.
Like, hey, Japanese, why not give him the point?
Yeah, he's like, hey man, I need my student loans paid off, so I'll give you that point there. All right, next one, we're gonna go back to football here. Something you guys have been talking about. So, as you guys talked about, the Bills traded Stephon Diggs to the Texans for a second-round pick last week. Josh Allen's career took off once Diggs got there. Does Allen owe his resurgence to Diggs, or was he bound to make the leap no matter who his receiver was? Go ahead and start us off, Fernando.
I think he owes it more to Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll kind of sat him down and said, look, Let's go through this. Let's see all your mistakes and let's sit down and kind of go through it. I'm sure he sat down with Sean McDermott as well to kind of go over defenses. That's kind of a point that you've heard that defensive coaches like Bill Belichick used to sit down with Tom Brady and be like, look, this is what defense are going to attack you with. This is what they're going to do. But I think Josh, his first season, he kind of noticed the mistakes that he made. I mean, when they threw him in against the Chargers, you saw those mistakes, but then you also saw the promise of what he potentially could be. So I definitely think that he deserves it more. I think he deserves it more. Brian Dable deserves more credit, but I mean, also we can't take away anything from Josh Allen. I'm sure having Diggs there helped, but I think it's more about Brian Dable when it comes to the coaching and everything that he was able to do and kind of help him out with it. I think coaching is what kind of helped him more than anything else.
Yeah, I'm sure Stephon, gets some credit. He did help out. And when he got there, it was when Allen made the leap from year 3. 2018, 2019 was very rough. And I was surprised how well he did in that third year with Stephon Diggs. But obviously, accuracy was an issue when he had a friendly target that helped him out too. Somebody who got open very quick, very good route runner. But Fernando's right too. Brian Dable definitely helped out. It's like saying, was Kirk Cousins going to be any good without Stephon? When Stephon left, Kirk Cousins, well, he got Justin Jefferson, so maybe I don't know about that one. But Kirk Cousins has been a solid quarterback. They do help, but Josh Allen's going to make the leap eventually. When, like I mentioned earlier, when they went away from Stephon and it was the running game with James Cook, it was Khalil Shakur, Gabe Davis. They played well. They were he was an MVP candidate without Stephon Diggs doing anything. So I'm sure it sped up the process, but I'm sure Josh Allen would have been fine without him.
Jorge's excited.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gilbert. I think it would have happened either way. I mean, I think he took the next level, and it was up to him. And as you saw, even without Diggs, he was able to do. He played better actually. Like they were a better team without Diggs. When he wasn't getting the ball. So point to you there, Gilbert. All right, guys, we're gonna get into some college basketball. I'm sure this will be the first time we'll ever talk about women's basketball. Caitlin Clark finished her career at Iowa without winning the title. And even though she broke many statistical records, her not winning a title is a big reason why many won't consider her the greatest of all time. With what she's done for women's basketball, like we said, we're talking about it on here, the past 2 years, she should be in the conversation for women's college basketball greatest of all time, or because even though she didn't win a title.
Yeah, I'm going first, right? So yes, you should be in the conversation, but greatest of all time, hell no, you didn't win the title. Like when I'm judging quarterbacks, I'm going off of Super Bowls and championships. And I get when those UConn women's team dominated, they were stacked rosters, but like you got to win one, man. Like South Carolina wasn't stacked like UConn, so I'm trying to pretend like I know a lot of women's college basketball, but I remember those UConn teams that dominated. I know South Carolina was undefeated. She was kind of like a one woman show at times there. Talented player, great 3-point shot, but no, you can't be the greatest of all time when you don't win a freaking title. She went up twice and she fell both times in the final.
I agree with Gilbert. If you lost, how can you be the GOAT? Like you didn't win anything. And I get where Jorge is coming from, that she put the sport on the map, but other people have done that before. Lisa Leslie has done that. Reggie Miller's sister, Cheryl Miller, she was big time as well. I mean, there's been and I guess that's WNBA, but still,
that might be the greatest of all time.
Cheryl Miller was elite. So I think the thing is that we're thinking about the here and now, and I feel like people just don't do there. We think of recency bias and we go, oh, that's a GOAT. Oh, that's a GOAT. Oh, that's a GOAT. Instead of saying, no, like that's just the next generation of person coming in. Jorge, Lisa Leslie, you need to look her up. She was vicious. So I if you don't win, I can't call you a GOAT of anything. Like Allen Iverson is my favorite player that did not win a ring. I think he's awesome, but he didn't win a ring at the end of the day. I mean, you remember the guys that won rings, and unfortunately, she's not one of those. So, yeah, I can't call her the GOAT. I'm sure she'll be. Did you hear that the Aces have already rented out when they play?
He went from the Michelob Ultra Arena to
when they play whoever
the Fever,
Indiana Fever.
Yeah, there you go. Them. They get rented out a bigger arena so that she can be there. But I wonder how long this is all going to last, because like once you go into the WNBA, it's going to be different. So yeah. I mean, we all remember Jimmer Fredette and some of these like big time like college players, and then once they got to the league, kind of shifted. So
the good thing about her, like it wasn't just her, like she helped people bring more eyeballs, but like that I was gonna say that person from UConn, the player from USC. There's like 3 or 4. The
Juju
Angel Reese from
Watkins.
LSU.
Yes.
So it's kind of like Magic and Bird, and people put the eyeball on the sports. So
But
for that, she gets credit.
just real quick, I mean, if you're gonna be a villain, be a villain. If you want to be a superhero, be a superhero. Don't try and play villain and then jump back and then woe is me, all this stuff. No, like if you're gonna be a villain and be the best damn villain that there is out there. Because there are some people that have embraced it. I mean, Mahomes has embraced it. I think I can't say LeBron embraced it because I remember he would pull too much childish BS when he was in Miami. So I can't even say he embraced it. But
Tried at times, but it didn't come off naturally.
Kobe embraced it, and I think once he beat the Celtics, that's when like, oh, it's the Mamba Vino. People loved him again. So like, if you're gonna be the villain, be the villain. So yeah, like I ain't gonna get into all that, but yes, essentially, Jorge, that's what I was kind of referring to. But all right, let's move on because
no, and I agree with both of you guys in terms of what you said. I mean, as you talked about, Lisa Leslie was also someone who didn't win a college title, but she was great. She still won. Dahl Staley, who is the coach at South Carolina, also didn't win a college title, but she won a gold medal. Like I just think that the biggest thing here is for Caitlin Clark to put women's basketball on the map. And I think instead of having a GOAT talk, we should be having the conversation about what she might be able to do going forward for the sport. Because, we were having a conversation during Super Bowl media radio row with Adam Hill, and you guys did not know who Ionescu was. So it just tells
when you
you
throw out that weird name, like
the backup center for the Raiders, all right?
I know her. Like I know who she is. The last name I just never heard. I know who Sabrina is. Like she was always hanging around Kobe, and they would always post together. And she played at Oregon. I knew that.
We know that.
The last name is what threw me off. I didn't know the last name. Like that last name is just different.
Nobody
right, and nobody knows who the Raiders' backup guard was. So that was pretty funny of Adam Hill to put you guys in that situation. But
you only know the backup for the Raiders center if you're a real fan and you're a beat reporter. So
I honestly thought you were like when he first said it, I said ayahuasca. Like I didn't know what the hell he was saying. Like but.
All right, guys, I'll give you guys both the points since you guys made the same point there. All right, next one. This one has to do with Aaron Donald. So Aaron Donald was on the Green Light podcast with Chris Long last week and said TJ Watt is the best defensive player in the NFL. We saw the impact Donald had on the NFL, but what will be his lasting legacy when you bring up his career in the NFL? And is he right? Is TJ Watt the best defensive player?
Wait, so so Aaron Donald so a two-parter. Aaron Donald's like, I don't know if I'd call him the greatest of all time at his position. I think he's damn near close. The one lasting image that I'll remember is when he knocked over Joe Burrow or caused him to underthrow that pass to Jamar Chase, takes off his helmet and starts going like that. Like that's what I'll always remember about him. I definitely think that he was relentless. He was vicious. I remember people were kind of down talking him when the Rams took him a couple of years ago. People were saying that was a stretch. Your boy Mel Kiper, your guys' boy Mel Kiper was the one kind of like, I don't know about big this, that. I don't know. But I think Aaron Donald was vicious. I think it took almost three offensive linemen to kind of contain him. So I was very impressed with the career that Aaron Donald had. Fortunately, 10 years goes by so fast because it's already over. So I'm interested to see what he does next. He'll probably just be in the shadows for the time being, but it'll be interesting. And then best defensive player, I still think it's Myles Garrett, to be honest. I think TJ, I'm gonna get knocked for saying this. I think he gets hurt like towards the end of the season. I think he gets hurt way too often. They can't count on him towards the end of the season. He gets his numbers up there, but I think if we remove the image of JJ Watt in our heads, there would be a fat like, oh, I wonder who's better, who's more impactful. But the reason is we think about TJ and we think about JJ as well. So I think that's why people are like, oh yeah, no, he's the best. But I think Myles Garrett just has a lot to do with exactly why Cleveland was a lot better last year and they made the playoffs. So I think Miles deserves a lot of credit for what he does. So I don't know if I agree with Aaron when it comes to that.
Yeah, if the question was most dominant when healthy, why not? TJ Watt, he's definitely knows how to impact a game, and I can even say that better than.
I think your mic is off.
Oh, give me a second. Well,
Yeah,
I
but
do.
I just don't know if I would count TJ as I mean, I think he's great and everything, but there's some oh my god, Jorge, you're gonna get me in trouble.
All right, well, I'm gonna go back to
There you
TJ
go.
Watt. He just doesn't stay healthy enough for me. He always misses
Yeah.
3 games, but when he's on the field, he's a game wrecker. I could definitely say that without hesitation. But I'm gonna keep going with Chris Jones as the best defensive player in the NFL because he has the hardware, back-to-back Super Bowls, and yeah, maybe it's not all Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid because Chris Jones is holding it down for that very dominant defense. So I think it's still with him right now at the moment. And then in terms of impact, it was cool when I went to cover Eagles and Rams, and I was in the locker room for Jason Kelsey to break down how they game plan for Aaron Donald. Nobody else gets that type of treatment. I don't remember the last time, but and then hearing Aaron Donald talk about that from his point of view on that same podcast or interview with Chris Long, saying, "Yeah, I hated playing Jason Kelsey. I hated the Eagles because they would triple team me. The second the ball snapped, Jason Kelsey would be in my face, and they won't let him do anything." So that was cool to see. But in terms of best player, it's definitely Chris Jones, and he elevated his game when Aaron Donald did too.
Did you see Philly fans were booing George Kittle every single time he came on the screen?
Oh, really? I didn't even catch that, but that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Bailey didn't get booed because she's a Niners fan. But I digress. But I just wanted to say, yeah, I'm with you, Gilbert, on this. I think it's Chris Jones, and I think for me the biggest thing for his legacy, which is something I wrote on the Compas newsletter, so make sure you go and check it out. And that's the dudes that are getting paid. I mean, all the defensive tackles and the way you're seeing. I mean, that's why I knew that there's 10 defensive tackles who are now have been paid. I mean, I can go down the list here. It's Chris Jones, Derek Brown, Christian Wilkins, Justin Matabuki,
Matabuke.
Quinnen Williams, Jeffrey Simmons, Deron Payne, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Javon Hargrave. All these dudes got paid. I mean, yeah, yeah, no, but yeah, like he changed the position, and I think that's the biggest thing with his legacy. So I'm giving you the point there, Gilbert, because as you said, I mean, Chris Jones has been outstanding. All right, moving on to Combat Sports here, and I sent you guys a video over the weekend. So is it fair or foul for DAZN to interview David Benavidez while he's drunk as a spectator at a boxing match over the weekend?
I forgot. Is it me now or you, Fernando?
It is you.
Yeah, it's definitely foul. Like, come on. Like, maybe I don't know. Maybe they didn't know that he was, drunk, and they just said, "Hey, who's your PR guy? Can we interview David?" He says, "Yeah, go ahead." Maybe it's on the PR person, the publicist. Maybe it's a trainer. I know his dad's a trainer, but when the second he's drinking water before the interview, that's when you know it's a little bad. And maybe when you're drinking water to get ready for the interview, maybe you shouldn't accept that interview. So it could be on both parts, but maybe the zone had no idea. And they're like, you know what? The second you started talking, okay, we messed this up here. So it looks bad on all their part. But he's a young, he's a young champion, or I don't know if he's a champion currently, but he's a young fighter. He might fight on that undercard with Gervonta Tank Davis in June, I think, in Houston. I don't like him being a co-main event. You got to build this guy's brand, right? You want him to fight Canelo Alvarez, make him headline an event. Go find somebody who's not a big name, but a good enough name where he could headline a pay-per-view. Because Canelo said, "Hey, $100 million, or we ain't talking." So you got to build his brand, and to put him on a co-main, but maybe being drunk in an interview builds the brand in a bad way, but also builds a brand.
What did you say, that it hurts or it doesn't hurt?
And
or fair or foul?
It was fair or foul, so I went foul on both parts, the zone and his people.
I think it's fair. I think his people should have stopped him if they thought that it wasn't like you essentially, when you're his people, you're basically a babysitter. They were terrible babysitters. They should have been like, no, you know what? He's not down to talk right now. Thank you so much. Or whatever. But I just thought that it was a bad look from all parties. And I didn't think it was a bad look for DAZN. I mean, that's on Benavidez' people for letting him talk. But I mean, whatever, he was drunk. Okay. How many people remember when Strickland and what's his name went at it a couple of months ago at a UFC event and stuff? Like, You just never know. I mean, it's all I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it, to be honest. She was drunk, okay, but it's on his people to nip that in the butt, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with Fernando on this one. I'm giving him the point here just because also Gilbert, if you look at that water bottle, that was not water. He had
Oh,
something
so
mixed in there.
wow,
It could
even
make
worse.
yeah, if you check out that video again, you'll see yeah, like cuz he kept sipping on that. I was like that is not water, not the way you would sip on that. So, but Fernando's right. I mean, you need both the zone and him knew what they were doing. Yeah, he apologized because it looked bad, but like honestly, like and I'm with you as well, Gilbert. Like he should promote himself a little bit better. Like coming off drunk at an interview, that also doesn't look good for yourself. Like go and promote yourself a little better because if you want to fight with Canelo, you're gonna need to be you're gonna need to you know have more exposure
Yeah.
out there
And
for
let's
yourself.
not forget he lost the belt when he was really young for donut powder reasons.
Yes.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
All right, guys. So we're all tied up. So I got a bonus question here for you guys. So, we've seen the explosion of the wide receiver position in the past decades. Will teams start to value the position like we've seen with running backs? And part of the reason I wanted to put this question on here was because you're starting to see that so like the Chargers, they might not draft a receiver till the middle rounds. You can wait, especially when you have a draft like this where it's top heavy with receivers, and you've seen like even we mentioned Stephon Diggs. They found Justin Jefferson right away. So will we start seeing that, or will we? Just because the position is so good now, is it not going to be devalued like we've seen with running backs?
Well, I think it's gonna all be on coaching, but I don't think it'll be devalued like the running back position. I think that, I mean, everybody wants to play receiver now because it's a big, flashy everything. You got to do dances, you got to do all this stuff. You're on posters, you're on this, you're on that. Obviously, To Chad Johnson, Jerry Rice, these guys made Randy Moss. They all made that stuff. Well, actually, let me take Jerry Rice out of that because he was just a great player. But like these guys were the flashy guys. So I think flashiness is kind of what everybody wants to do. So I don't think that's the just because it worked for like I mean, even the Packers, they still drafted a lot of those guys in the second, third round. So I don't. I again, I'd be surprised if the Chargers waited up until the middle rounds, like the fourth, fifth, sixth round, or third, fourth, fifth. But Chad Ochocinco, oh wow, I saw that. But no, I don't think it'll be devalued like the running back position. I think people know what kind of players they have. Like Justin Jefferson is going to get paid. Like guys are going to get paid. Jamar Chase has has he been paid? No,
Yeah.
not yet. But guys are going to get paid, especially when you have those elite talents like Jamar Chase, like Justin Jefferson. Those guys will get paid, but I don't think it'll lose its value. I just think that yes, now Team C, you know what? We can draft a receiver later and all that, but I don't think it's going to be devalued. I think people really want Marvin Harrison Jr. I think people really want Malik Neighbors. I think people really want those guys.
Yeah, I can see like maybe there could be some kind of devaluing going on because the position is very deep in the draft, and you can always find a wide receiver. But when you see Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb about to break $200 million, that tells you a lot. Like no way a running back is going to come close to getting even $100 million nowadays. So 200 million for Justin Jefferson, I would not be surprised. And then here's another example. Calvin Ridley is what, the 20th best wide receiver in the NFL. He almost got a $100 million contract. So money talks. If you are a star wide receiver or even a number 2 wide receiver, you're gonna get paid. Brandon Ayuk, he will probably get paid. He's not number 1 on his team, but he could be number 1 on most teams. T. Higgins was franchise tag. He'll probably get paid too, like a number 1. So if you could play, they'll find you and they'll pay you.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gilbert. And then part of it too is like every kid now is playing wide receiver now. Like it's either corner, and I saw Albert Breer on Rich Eisen's show, and he was talking about how have you noticed how all the DBs, all they're like sons of former players, and it's because they know that where they can make their money, and so a lot of these coaches are putting these kids into wide receiver rooms and cornerback positions, because that's where you're going to continue to get paid. I think that's why you're going to start like someone like OBJ would have probably been a running back, back in the day. But now, because of, how in the explosion of the receivers, we're seeing that. So point to you, Gilbert. Another win, another week. So congratulations.
Yes, I am the best of this episode here, and for Rapid Fire. But Fernando, I'll give you some credit because you did speak in Japanese not too long ago.
Yeah, exactly.